BG.com just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of Live Up to Freedom. I appreciate you joining me in this. What is today? Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday, October 15th. Wow. We are live on worldviewtube.com on its Rumble and X account. Also, if you have the app, you can watch us on WorldViewTube app. And if you don't have the app, it is for free. Grab it from your app store. We're also live on X America News X channel, on my Rumble, both YouTube channels, Facebook, and Substack. So, as always, join the conversation. I will glance at the comment sections as we get through the show, though I will be joined here in a moment with a very special guest, but I will make sure, especially if you have any questions for me or my guest, I will grab them. Before we bring our guest on, I do want to say that even when I prepared the information for today's show, it was before I dove into the news. So we will talk about Gaza, no question about it. We will talk about Hamas and all that. But there's also other developing stories or other stories that we need to cover. So don't be disappointed. It's going to still be pretty disappointing. So stay tight. I will take no further time because I want to get as much time as I can with our special guest, Shahram Hadian, no stranger to most of the audience on WorldViewTube because he has his own show right here on the weekends. He is a fellow Iranian, fellow American, brother in Christ, and also a pastor. Hi, Shahram John. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Annie John. Great to be with you. It's always a blessing and privilege.
Thank you. Yes, we did a show together last week for the Gazans gang, and I'll tell you what, Shahram John, the feedback was amazing. To my absolute surprise, we had a lot of our audience over at the Gazans gang who were absolutely, grateful for the information that, especially the information you were putting out, going into the Bible and the prophecy. So I figured, well, we got to do round two, even though it might be a little different. Before we pick a specific topic, I have no idea if you've seen this or not, but I came across it earlier this morning. There's a few seconds of Mike Johnson making an announcement. Let's play that clip and then dive in.
Today, it's the announcement in the U.S. that was made in the Knesset yesterday. I'm proud to tell you that together with my friend Speaker Ohana of the Israeli Knesset, the equivalent of our Congress, we're going to embark upon a project together to rally speakers and presidents of parliaments around the world so that we will jointly nominate President Donald J. Trump for next year's Nobel Peace Prize. No one has ever deserved that prize more, and that is an objective fact.
I'm going to behave. When on Thursday, day before announcement of this year's Peace Prize, I had Barry Newsbaum on my show, and Shahram John, what I said was he will not win it. And watch when that doesn't happen, he's going to aim for next year. Well, I guess he is aiming for next year, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's almost like they have to cement this to him. Like literally, it's got to be glued to him because now that he has proclaimed himself, or the White House, or whoever is doing the PR for the White House for this administration, I mean, he is the peace president, right? I mean, that's what he declared, is this is the peace president. And so if it's not this year, next year. If it's not next year, it'll be the year after that. I mean, until he gets it, until they give it to him, they're going to keep pressing. So part of me is not surprised by this. The bigger surprise should be to everybody, why all of a sudden is there such a level of attention on world peace? Why all of a sudden are we just seeing where, doesn't it seem like everybody, or at least not everybody, but you know, the players on the field, they all want to play nice together all of a sudden. That seems very suspicious to me.
Yes, and here's the thing: my issues with this announcement. One, when I came out a few weeks ago and I said to give Hamas members, to offer them amnesty, does not deserve peace prize, but he'll do it to get that prize. I was heavily attacked by his supporters of he's not chasing after peace prize. So I guess I'm going to take a moment here and say, well, how's that chasing working out for you, supporters of President Trump and his decisions? The second problem is the moment he didn't win 2025, the announcement was, well, you know, peace prize and the whole Norway thing is a joke. They hold no credibility. Well, here's the thing. For example, Shahram John, myself, when SPLC names me on their website, I don't even flinch because they don't have credibility for me. I don't go beg them to take my name off of it. So if there is no credibility, why are we trying again? Last but not least, what else is Trump and his administration going to give to Islamists to win this next year is my biggest concern, Shahram John.
Well, let's go back to Monday. So you have Recep Erdogan sitting to the president's left. I'm trying to remember now. I think it was his left. If you're looking
on camera, it was left. So sitting in the room should have been the right.
Sitting on the, I have a picture of it here, but it was, you know, they had the big, you know, remember the big Peace 2025? This was in Sharm el-Sheikh. So this was in Egypt. And so here's Erdogan, who the Turkish government has infiltrated so many of our legislators. Do you know how many state legislators I've talked to that their views on Islam has changed for the worse because they were taken on an all-expense paid trip to Turkey to be able to see the beautiful history of Islam, the beautiful civilization, and then you have the Gulen schools, the Fethullah Gulen schools in America, all these Sharia-based schools in America funded by Turkey. And this is the same guy that said 6 months ago, we're ready to invade Israel, right? That's what he said, that we are at the point. And then, of course, we see that he, you know, that basically Turkey, and people have to understand, and I know you, if anybody is watching your show, they know this fully well, but just in case anybody is not cluing in, Syria is Turkey. Turkey is controlling Syria. That's got to be clearly understood, right? I don't know if people get this or not, that al-Shara or Mr. Jilani is not operating separately from whatever is going on in Turkey. Turkey is mentioned 4 times in Bible prophecy as a nation that's going to come against Israel in the last times. And yet they're sitting at the table saying now 3,000 years. The president said this took only 3,000 years, but it's done. And now, and then remember he said, and this will stick. This will last. Meanwhile, as you pointed out in your excellent Substack, I just read it today before we came on air. In Gaza, the warring factions, you know, are killing each other. Whoever is, you know, whichever faction of Hamas is coming to power or is trying to control power, they're assassinating their own people. And as you said rightly, they were not in Egypt. They did not sign on to anything, and they've agreed to less than 1 point. So this is, to say premature would imply that it's going somewhere. To say delusional, I think is a better word. I think all of this peace talk is utterly delusional when you understand what we're dealing with. But I think most people don't understand. And certainly, unfortunately, many of the mega camp do not understand, because the moment you criticize, like we give props to the president for good things that he does, but the moment you criticize the president, now, oh my gosh, what a fool you are. You don't understand. You know, this is 4D chess, 5D chess. And we're sitting here going, like if I was Trump and I put on Facebook or social media on his X account or Truth Social, whatever it was, that I'm ushering in everlasting peace. And then did you see his son-in-law? Or no, not his son-in-law, his son, Eric Trump, he said, we saved God. Like, if you're saying these things, that we're ushering in everlasting peace, when the Bible says that that term is given to the Prince of Peace alone, I'd be like, whoa, dude, you're walking on very dangerous ground, because you are now looking at the glory of a holy and righteous God, and you're claiming that you're saving God, your family is claiming you're saving God, and you're claiming that we're ushering in everlasting peace, using that term. It's incredulous, Annie John. It's absolutely, and what's more incredulous is all those people that are blind to it. They're either celebrating because Israel finally lost, and that's where all the anti-Semites are, or they're celebrating because they think we've actually established world peace. That's what's unbelievable. Sorry for the long explanation.
Oh, no, please don't apologize. Take as much as you need. But because that's the thing, these topics are too complicated. Yesterday, my whole show, I barely got to point 9 of the original 20 points because I had to break it down and talk about things. But it is. But then you look at the follow-up comments. Trump on his way to Israel saying, I guess I'm just not heaven-bound.
Right.
And then at the Knesset very proudly saying, my daughter converted.
Right.
Again, I'm not picking on any of them. I'm just following up with the pattern of, if this was Biden, son and father,
yep,
the reactions would be very different. I have watched many conservative Christians brutally attack Kamala Harris's stepdaughter for her lack of faith, for her LGBTQ alignment. And that is where I complain. Double standards needs to stop.
Yes.
A nation that is built on one nation under God cannot survive constant side picking and selective outrage. This is why we are where we are. And bottom line is, this entire peace price is we are going to pay the price, Shahram John, and I don't think people understand. And I guess since I've been called outsider since 2 days ago, I'm not even American anymore, I get to say this. Seems like unless it's me and you and Yosama Dakdok and Nani Darwish and Bridget Gabriel that came from it, witnessed it, watched it melt down, they just don't get it. Making deals. You brought up Saudi Arabia, which is, Turkey, that is behind Syria, which most of my audience, at least Substackers, are aware of, because I had that when I did an expose on Erdogan and how he commanded this Jolani people in Syria to kill Christians and Kurds and Baluch. But we also need to add that Jared Kushner was the lead negotiator with Erdogan during 2017 and 2018 back channel indirect talks with Erdogan.
Right.
But I'm working on it as fast as I can. I've been a little slow, especially with my arm and neck situation. But point is, there is a huge factor here. And I just surpassed my first segment. I'll tell you about the big missing point here as soon as we come back from our ad break. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the clock. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHouseBG.com.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with us until now. And before I forget, I don't think I'll forget. Anyways, I did add some inventory to our lutfstudio.com. So head over. Our Christmas 30% sale is still going on, and it's going to go on for a little bit longer. But we did add, I know a lot of you asked me for different products when they kind of come in. I did load some inventory last night. I will do more tonight and tomorrow and every night as I can. And I want to give a shout out to all of you who made a purchase. It was amazing. I don't remember the last time I had almost over 24 packages ready to be picked up by post office. So I appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy all the decorations or the gifts you have purchased. lutfstudio.com. That's lutfstudio.com. 30% off all products across the store. And on top of that, you can use your promo code MISSION and get an extra 10%. That's 40% off. Don't miss out. And as you know, these are one of a kind, which means I won't be able, if you see something, buy it now because I can't recreate it. Someone has kindly sent me a request of a matching product. I did my best, but it didn't look the same. So grab them while they are still there. Perfect. Back to Shahram. As we were discussing, and I missed the whole clock thing, and I said there's a major thing that's missing, Shahram John. Well, not missing, it's not being pointed out. And that is Jared Kushner. Mm-hmm. Kushner is a great negotiator, don't get me wrong. That is exactly why he has been able to collect billions. This is billions, people. And you'll see it in my Substack whenever I released it. Billions of dollars of golf money. On the record, not even making it up, from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from Turkey. Now, the race against winning the prize next year, Trump already announced the challenge, and this is where me and you are going to dig in. Trump announced at the Knesset that Kushner will be in charge of negotiations with Iran. You have a weak man who already is owned by golf money going to negotiate with Iran. What could possibly go wrong, Shahram John?
Oh, yeah. How many ways can we highlight what can go wrong? Well, first of all, we
have about 42 minutes. Go.
42 minutes. Okay, here we go. Point one. There's no way, because of what you just said, because of the fact that he is so heavily intertwined, entangled. You know, the word we use is entanglement, right? We're not to be entangled with things that are not righteous, that are not good for us. You know, as a Christian, as a believer, don't get entangled with sin, the Bible says. Well, in this case, when you entangle with foreign money and foreign powers that are, to any person with half of a mind of discernment, are anti-American, anti-freedom, Jared Kushner is not going to represent the Iranian people. That's point number one. He's going to represent the interest of whatever is best for the Trump administration, not what's best for the Iranian people. The Iranian people, and I said this before, you and I talked about this before, Annie John, when Trump stuck his foot into the situation when Israel was trying to take out.
Oh, you can say it on my show. You can say it on my show. When President Trump saved Ayatollah Khamenei's life. Yes.
There you go. When he saved that regime, when he betrayed the Iranian people, in my opinion, it will go down as his greatest mistake, certainly in the second term, but maybe in his entire presidency. When he betrayed the Iranian people by bailing out Khamenei, by bailing out the IRGC. I saw in your post on Facebook again that IRGC is claiming we're up to 100%. We're back. We're up. So what a failure. What a disgusting failure of opportunity. The best that probably the Iranian people have had in 47 years. So Jared Kushner is going to go now negotiate with the mullahs. They don't understand Islam if it has smacked them in the face. And they are trying to keep this regime in power. And here's where I speculated. The Arab Gulf nations, the Islamic Arab Gulf nations, the greatest threat to them in the region would be a free Iran. Because you and I know that a free Iran now would be an Iran minus Islam. the people of Iran would throw off the shackles immediately of Islam, of Islamic rule, of any influence, and they would institute a government that would protect true liberty and freedom. I hope, I pray that that's what would have happened. And so you talked about foreign influence. How can you go negotiate on behalf of the United States and claim that we're negotiating in a spirit of good faith when you are so financially compromised? You mentioned the Qataris, most people,
Saudi Arabia, Turkey.
Saudi Arabia, Turkey, exactly. The Arab Emirate nations. When you have Egypt, when you have all these business deals in the Middle East, and now you're negotiating with the mullahs, what are you negotiating for? Is the plan, here's the problem number two. What's your plan for Iran? Are the mullahs going to moderate? Because they're expecting Gaza to moderate, right? They're expecting Gaza to, quote, de-radicalize, lay down their weapons. We're not going to fight anymore. It's going to be a technocratic utopia.
Oh, no. The deal for Iran, simply, there's just one term. They're not touching the mullahs. They're not telling them to stop funding terrorism, stop killing your own people, stop imprisoning Baha'is. None of that is on the deal. The only deal for Kushner to achieve is stop building nuclear, and we will lift all sanctions. We will be friends, and you can kill as many Iranians as you want. By the way, I want to put an insert here, Shahram John. Two inserts. One, for anyone, because with all due respect, I have plenty audience and supporters, which I'm grateful for, but they always tell me, sorry, it is what it is, your people, their problems, and I agree with you. When Shahram said Trump betrayed the Iranian people, that was just the first step. With saving Khamenei's life, giving another lifeline to IRGC, he also betrayed the Israelis. Right after that, he betrayed Americans. So let's get this straight. Our frustration, all of the Iranian Americans, Iranian Europeans, Iranian Jews, all of our frustration, yes, number one, came from the fact that Iranian people were seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for the first time in 47 years. However, the second problem was, oh, great, you just saved the people that you stand there proudly saying they are terrible people. They fund terrorism, terrible, terrible, terrible people. But then you went and saved them. So the betrayal was started with Iranian people immediately. However, the after effect will be bloodshed of Israelis, the Jews, the Americans, the Christians, and on that has been going on for 47 years. The second thing I want to put in here, I reported this either today or yesterday. Days are blurring into each other, but Islamic Republic of Iran, Shahram John, has resumed their abroad assassinations again. 2 days ago, an Iranian opposition was shot and killed on his way home in Istanbul, Turkey. So while I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you out here watching the news, listening to our government think there's a big time disagreement between Erdogan and Khamenei. I want you to know that the government of Turkey under Erdogan has handed over so many Iranian refugees to the regime of Iran that would send shivers down your spine. So don't believe the fight in front of you. Behind closed doors, Erdogan has literally maintained power with help of the mullahs. Sorry, all yours, Shahram.
Well, no. I was just going to, that's such a great point. And for Christians who are watching this, just add one more word to what you said. You said Iranian refugees in Turkey, Iranian Christian refugees in Turkey. You know, Turkey used to be a place where there were certain ministries that would go to Turkey because as Iranian Christians who were coming to Christ in Iran, as they would need to be discipled and grow. In fact, my spiritual father would take trips to Turkey for a few weeks at a time, and they would meet secret locations with these refugees, but that they're Christians. These are new Christians, and strengthen them, pray over them, empower them, go back to Iran now and reach the Iranian people for Christ. Now Turkey has pretty well shut down. Turkey cannot be that place anymore. And you said exactly why. Because it has become increasingly absolutely dangerous for the Christians in Turkey because of Erdogan's work with Iran. Just the other day, I was speaking in Rapid City on Monday night. Somebody came to my presentation and said, when are you going to be honest and talk about that there is no monolithic Islam, that, the Sunnis and the Shiites and all these sects, they fight among each other, and be honest, there's all these different sects of Islam. Come on, there isn't one Islam. And I said, don't listen to the rhetoric that the Sunnis, the Saudis hate Iran, Iran hates the Saudis, the Turks hate Iran. I said, don't listen. I was saying the same thing. Don't listen to that. They are absolutely behind the scenes working together. There may be some turf wars. And I think spiritually, there's a principle here that ultimately it's all from Satan. And Satan's house is always divided. Satan's house will never be unified because it's a house divided against itself. That's a biblical principle. But nevertheless, this notion of the splintered Islam, and that because of this rift between the Saudis, the Turks, and the Shia powerhouse of Iran, and these other ones being the Sunni powerhouse, it's baloney. It's nonsense. So thank you for bringing that out. Thank you for revealing that indeed Erdogan and the mullahs in Iran have been working together. And who pays the price? Ultimately, Christians. Christians will pay the price, whether in Turkey, in Iran, around the world, and obviously Iranian dissidents, as you mentioned, who are vocal in their opposition to this Islamic regime. By the way, one other quick thing. The reason I said the betrayal, and you're absolutely right, with the betrayal further beyond Iran to Israel and to America ultimately. You're absolutely right. But specifically, and I want to be clear, I was not in any way, shape, or form, because I can hear somebody saying, Annie and the Shahram guy, man, they're warmongers. What do you want? You want America to go in there and just, regime change? No, we were saying, America, stay out of it. Don't interfere. Trump, don't interfere. State Department, don't interfere. That's what was my hope, because when this objective by Israel had been planned for 7 to 10 years, Operation Rising Lion, that was the attack. Now that is all for waste. And the sad part about what is going on in Israel right in this moment is the Israelis, I think many Jews so desperately want to have some level of peace that they're not recognizing they're actually being betrayed by America as well. There's a headline for you. America is betraying Israel with this supposed peace deal. America is actually betraying. We're supposed to be the best friend, right? Didn't Netanyahu say Trump has been the best friend of Israel ever? But the reality is, watch and see how this is actually a betrayal. And Jared Kushner negotiating with Iran, further betrayal of Israel, as you said.
Exactly. Amen. And here's the thing. My stand was pretty clear, but I'll repeat it. From day one, I said, the United States of America has cost my people plenty. Butt out, leave us be, let them deal with the problem. No, we don't want war. I don't. And mind you, again, I did actually, unlike Ilhan Omar, I grew up in war, Iran-Iraq war. I vividly remember the trainings I had to be given by my mother, so if she wasn't home, I knew how to get to the shelters. No, I don't want war. That's actually what the American administration of any side of panel wants, because more war, chaos in the Middle East, more money for them, more power for them. And by the way, so I said this off air, I'll say it on air before we go to our next ad break. There wouldn't be a first world of powers if we didn't have the third world countries that built the foundation of human rights, societies, culture, music, art. But we had to destroy them, turn them into third world in order for us to be the first world, didn't we? We're going to be right back. Well, hello everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thanks so much for staying with me until now. Yes, head over to lutfstudio.com. That's lutfstudio.com. I noticed on the comment section, seems like the website is loading a little slow. That has to be Etsy. Unfortunately, I don't control, the domain is mine, but the server is Etsy. So you can get to it just through Etsy by itself. Just go to Etsy and look up LUTF Studio. Use promo code MISSION if you like extra discount on top of the 30% off going on for our Christmas sales. And that way you support what I do. That is, at the moment, next to my Substack, my only source of income. Thank you so much for supporting what I do. And thank you for everybody joining the conversation in the comment section. I do see them, and I promised last segment we will get to your comments. Okay, Shahram Jan, do you want to make a comment about what I said at the very last, or should we move on?
No, I mean, I think, again, what you said is exactly what needs to be said. That's really the challenge. I will say this. Is when you commit to being a speaker of the truth, our ministry is truth and love. When you have that as your mission statement, live up to freedom, you're representing freedom and truth. You said it earlier, I just want to reiterate this. You don't then get to pick the side that truth leans. You have to follow the truth. And the hard thing about that is then criticizing your quote, your own camp. People say it to me all the time. Well, don't you understand? It's so much better than it would have been with the other gal. But in some ways, it's much more deceptive because you don't end up criticizing, or at least, bringing to light, just even asking questions. I don't think we're trying to be critical for the sake of being critical. It's asking legitimate questions, and the questions are based upon the most absurd assertions and public policy of the United States government. They are selling out our nation to Islam. They are selling out our nation to these Arab Emirate, Muslim Arab nations. They will own America if this continues. And they are in the process. Here's a prophecy angle to this. My concern is many of the rabbinical Jews in Israel, when Trump got elected, believe Trump would help them usher in not only the third temple that they desperately want to build, but they would he would help them usher in the Messiah, the coming of the Messiah, which we must understand is not the true Messiah. It's a false Messiah. Now, I think Trump is sadly, whether he knows it or not, if I were to give him the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't know what he's doing, which I'm not quite sure, he's now ushering in a false peace for them, which the Bible has predicted would happen. There will be a deceptive false peace that will sucker Israel to making a false agreement with all the nations of the world. And what are we witnessing? We're witnessing that deceptive false peace. So, woe to us that our country, America now, is a part of this deception. That's really, really sad.
And that's why I brought up 2 days ago on Brown House Radio that it is insulting when I see that. I don't know who's behind it. It has not been confirmed if it was the government, if it was a PR company. But when I started seeing the banners in Israel with the Israeli flag and Trump in front of it and a writing that says Cyrus the Great is alive,
yes,
I said that is insulting to my Christian faith and to my Iranian blood. Cyrus the Great didn't usher anything. Cyrus the Great was told to go and free the Jews. So he went and freed the Jews. He freed them with his sword, with his army, not diplomacy, not Kushner exchanging Qatar money under the table. He didn't ask for credit. He did what he was told to do, gave them what they needed from the bounties of Babylon, and told them to go build your God-promised temple.
Yeah.
So compare Cyrus the Great to Trump shows me how much of the Israeli people are already brainwashed with this narrative.
But Anija, it's also in the Christian right, because many of the people that are in that kingdom, remember, a lot of Trump's advisors are in this kingdom now mentality where they believe we're in the kingdom of Christ, now is the kingdom, we're setting up the earth for Jesus to come, because if we set up the earth and we make it look all beautiful and pretty and kingdom oriented, then he'll come. These are the same people that for years, going back to 2015, the moment Trump came down that escalator, they were the one who were, quote, prophesying that God is saying Trump is a Cyrus. So they've been saying this for the last 10 years. And now it's being repeated, as you said, that TV,
Billboard.
billboard, whatever, in Israel, is part of that same movement. It's this Friends of Zion. It's this, and obviously, I consider myself a biblical Zionist because I believe that when Jesus returns, he's going to set up his kingdom in Zion, not now, not this is the kingdom. So I just wanted to bring that out, that these people have been pushing this narrative of Trump, the reformer, because they believe the world's got to be reformed now. And so now this just plays into their hand. Boom. See, in fact, one of the leading guys, Lance Wallnau, who was a leading guy in this Kingdom Now theology camp, which is where Paula White comes from, his spiritual advisor, Trump's spiritual advisor, he came out and he just said, see, I told you 10 years ago, I said, Trump is Cyrus. Now the people of Israel know it. It just plays into their warped hand. So I just wanted to bring that up, add to that.
I'm glad you did. Yes, they started with their double-side coins, when one side of the coin was Cyrus the Great, the other side was Trump. And I remember someone very kindly contacted me and say, hey, can I have your address? I want to send you one of these. I said, you can definitely have my address, but keep the coin.
Yeah.
They were like, why? I said, many people don't know anything about Cyrus. They don't. Many Americans to this day still don't know that when our founding fathers went into the room to come up with the Declaration, one of the books they studied was Cyrus the Great's life. So you keep the coin, right? That's the thing. Shahram John, as you know, I do my best to avoid people calling me names. And one of the things that does bother me is when I'm called un-American, because I worked really hard to be an American, very proud of it, but it was tough to get that American passport. But sometimes I feel like, come on, guys. When I talk about Cyrus, or the fact that I chose Cyrus as my last name when I became a citizen, there was a reason. I am not comparing myself to Cyrus ever. What I am saying is, when I was asked, what do you want to change your last name to? Knowing now I'm going to be a citizen and I can start speaking out, I wanted to have the responsibility of such a name on me, to know that you lead like Cyrus did. You show up, you do first, and you ask your army to do after you. You don't send your team to do it and then you just show up to do the speech. These are the differences between Cyrus the Great and President Trump. You don't stay in your safe zone while other people, pretty much 33 Palestinians died yesterday. 33 Palestinians died yesterday in hands of Hamas under accusation of cooperating with IDF. And have you heard President Trump reacting to this? Because I haven't. What happened to that? If they don't de-radicalize, I'm gonna let Bibi finish them. Didn't he say that? Yeah,
he actually said that today, that if they do not disarm, that we will we will, quote, disarm them. We will do it for them. What does that look like?
But that's my question. When?
Yeah.
They already, less than 24 hours, they already killed 33. I'm not going to even name the Jewish people who died. For their own sake of free Palestine, they just killed 33 Palestinians.
Right.
And by the way, let's draw a parallel here. You know who else executed and killed Iranians after the 12 days war on their accusation of cooperating with Israel? It would be the mullahs that Trump has not even touched and saved since his second term started. The pattern is the same. And okay, let's say they don't know. I'm very obsessed with human behavior, Shahram. I have literally spent 11 years studying it. I'm so into pattern recognition and human behavior pattern. Is anybody in his administration drawing the pattern and parallel of here's what all the Islamists do? Because that's hard to miss.
Well, it's further, Annie John, Brannon on Monday, when I don't know if he played it when you were on with him, but he had pre-recorded, we pre-recorded, and he played the audio of Trump in his first term, talking about Islam, Muslim, right? And so there was, it was a sound bite, multiple sound bites that he had. So when you tell people now, and I get this a lot at my presentations, do you think the president knows the threat of Islam in America? Do you think the president knows the Islamic world and what they represent in jihad? And he must not know. And that clip was such a good reminder of all the things that he had said in his first term or leading up to his first term, even when he was running for president back in 2016, where he sounded like a guy that somebody had taught him something about the dangers of Islam. Now, he would say radical, we know he would say, radical Islamic terrorism, but he sounded like he had some knowledge. So what has happened now? And what I said on Brannon on Monday was, I said, the Bible says, my people are destroyed, talking about Israel in the book of Hosea, the prophet leading them when they were, in captivity at that time. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And most Christians know that passage, but they don't know the next part of the passage. For you have rejected knowledge. So I made the point, I don't think this is an issue of ignorance in the White House. I don't think this is an issue of we don't understand the Islam. Maybe I thought that more so a few months ago. I'm beginning to now shift back to, no, they know. They are rejecting it. They're intentionally turning away from it. And they think, maybe foolishly, if we give them the best of intentions, that by doing these business deals and money, that's how we're going to change the environment. The love of money? No. That's how you will destroy America. That's how, and you and I, they can call us un-American all day long for criticizing now the president and this false peace. That's what this is. This is absolutely a false peace proclamation. And it's a very spiritually dangerous thing. As I said, I would not want to be President Trump right now or anybody around him dealing with the righteous and holy God when you come and you declare you are Cyrus or somebody declares you're Cyrus. Like if I was Trump, I'd be like, please don't say we're bringing in everlasting peace. Please don't say that we've ended 3,000 years of which is really 4,000 years of blood feud in the Bible. Please don't say that I'm Cyrus the Great. Please stop it. Don't compare me. I just got to do my part. No. He takes it in. He takes the accolades in. His son, Eric Trump, comes out, as I said earlier, and says, we are saving God in America. Hello? I'm sorry, what you say? Can you say that again?
No, actually, please don't say that again.
Please don't say it again. Because all that came to my heart and my spirit was, woe to you. Woe to them that they are now at this point. Remember when Time Magazine or whatever. No, it wasn't. It was news. Back when Obama, remember in the second term, they had the term, we talked about this last week, right? Second coming.
It was time. It was time, I think.
Yeah. It was like, did you just declare Obama to the second coming of Jesus Christ? Is that what you guys just did? You want to rethink that? Because that's not good. But now that Trump is taking that mantle, looking like the savior, now they just soak it in. Wow.
Yes,
that's
they
just
do.
a really, so we are actually America first. We actually care about America because we know all of these backdoor deals and money transfers are all going to lead to our demise. We're going to be destroyed because we are rejecting the knowledge of who the enemy is. And of course, spiritually, I would go one step further and I'd say, this is all part of God's judgment on America. God,
Exactly.
God spoke to Israel and said, I'm going to hand you over to the Philistines for 40 years. You've rejected me. You've forsaken me. I'm going to allow your enemies to conquer you for 40 years. God said, I'm going to allow you to go into captivity for 70 years. First in Babylon, then in Persia. Because why? You've rejected me. We come and say, Islam is a judgment on America. We're forsaking our true foundation of freedom, liberty, and Christ in a Christian foundation. And they say, oh, you're un-American. Okay. All right. That's okay. Because my conscience is clear that what we're doing is actually rightly dividing the truth and saying what needs to be said. Even if it's, and by the way, somebody should have the courage right now to go sit down with the president and say, Mr. President, can I share you the gospel? Can I tell you actually how you can get to heaven? Why
It's
do none
much
of these,
easier than you think, sir.
why do none of these pastors and spiritual advisors around him can sit down with the president and say, Mr. President, you may never invite me to the White House again. That's okay. But I love you so much that I want you to be in heaven. I want you to bow a knee to the one and true righteous God. It's actually very simple message. Believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and that you are sinful. You can never earn your way to heaven, sir. How come? No, I mean, nobody has the courage to do that. And the president of the United States says, I'm probably not getting in, but at least I've made everybody's lives better. Wow.
Well,
That's
he
a
should
false
ask
gospel, by the way.
everybody, because I can tell you there are plenty of people. He talked about 1 or 2 million who wouldn't die in Ukraine-Russia war, but I would like for him to know about 67 million Iranians' life just got worse, and
Exactly.
over 1,200 of them died after 12 days war. But, well, his numbers come from some out of space, apparently, because he gets everything wrong as far as the numbers and history and the first time and the last time. But we do need to go take our last ad break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We come back to conclude.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Go to worldviewhealthcare.com. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. worldviewhealthcare.com. That's worldviewhealthcare.com.
The emergency kit available at worldviewhealthcare.com. Make sure you don't have to go to urgent care. I got pneumonia. I didn't have to go. I took this last year. Stayed at home, went to bed.
Can I do that? Can I stay at home, go to bed? I mean, I stay at home, but can I go to bed? I don't have pneumonia, but my neck has snapped and my arm hurts. Anyways, on that note, I would like to ask for prayers, guys. I am okay, as you can see, but unfortunately, the issue that I faced a few months ago is back. The neck is shifted to the left again, and we need to fix it, and we will. But I would appreciate your prayers. It seems like I might be needed more active than at the chiropractor. Your prayers will be appreciated. And for, again, just in case if you join us a little later, LUTFstudio.com, LUTFstudio.com. We are running our Christmas sale, 30% off across the store, and I am updating inventories nightly. So if you go in there, you don't see what you like, just check literally regularly, check them, or just favorite my shop and you get notifications when I list new items. It's LUTFstudio.com. Okay, let's bring back Shahram. We went long on the last segment, so we have about 7 minutes on this closing segment. And there's something that I feel like it has to be brought up, even if touching on it briefly. Shahram John, this morning, well, I should say last night, our local time, because of time zone, Putin welcomed Jelani, aka Al-Shara, to Moscow. They shook hands, they talked. Few things were on the table. They agreed that all the terms of Assad time of Russia will stay as it was, military, weapons, business, and all that. On top of that, Putin also said, let me think about it. I might give you Assad back, because everybody knows when Assad was toppled, he escaped to Russia. So now Putin is saying, well, I might just sugarcoat, sweeten the deal and give you Assad back so they can hang him, kill him, torture him. I don't know what to do. No surprise there at all. But here's my point. Do you think I might be correct that we might have another battle over a jihadi between U.S. and Russia going on? Because as you know, President Trump started the good-looking guy and left the sanctions, favoring al-Shara. And now Putin is trying to favor him further. Am I just have I lost my mind, became a full paranoid person, or are we about to pay the price for yet another battle over a jihadi?
No, I think that's actually an excellent point. We did the same thing in Afghanistan, right? We end up arming the Mujahideen. We end up then battling Russia, then us, and then I think some would say Afghanistan ended up handing to the Chinese now. They have the prominent control, even though the Taliban are sort of the face of what's going on there. Look, Syria, as I said earlier, is a key player, I believe, geopolitically and prophetically with Turkey because of the influence and the control of Turkey. So I think you're absolutely correct that now, because the U.S. is cozying up to Erdogan, all of a sudden, the U.S. is cozying up to Jelani, welcoming him to the White House, welcoming Erdogan to the White House. Now Russia is getting concerned because they don't have the control. And from a prophecy standpoint, if you follow the Bible and the potential of a battle that is coming called Gog-Magog, Russia, many believe, is a part of that coalition. So it doesn't surprise me that Russia is trying to maintain the relationship with Syria, which by proxy would mean Turkey. And of course, Iran is a part of that mix, along with other Islamic nations. So no, I think it's a good point. It's something to keep an eye on, because it should be very concerning that why are we so heavily now giving favor to al-Shara in Syria, when the true ethnic cleansing, Annie John, you know this, the true ethnic cleansing is right now in the region going on in Syria once again. And you mentioned the Kurds, you mentioned the Christians, but also don't forget the Alawites. It started with the Alawites, started with the Druze, the Alawites being a cult within Islam, right? Within Orthodox Islam, Alawites are considered to be a cult because they reject any aspect of abrogation. They reject any aspect of political Islam. So I love in your Substack, by the way, you said that we can solve Islam by getting rid of more than 50% of the verses.
That is true. 51% of Quran.
We should hold a press conference. I've always told those people that say we can reform Islam. I said, look, let's have a press conference together where we invite all these people and we're going to announce we have found the way to reform Islam. We are going to make a proclamation that Muhammad is a false prophet, and we're going to tear up half the Quran. And then we could reform Islam. There you go. And they're like, are you crazy? Are you insane? We can't do that. These are Muslim reformers, by the way.
Of course. But here's the thing. We both know the reformers know themselves that there is no reforming it. It's just basically they're a small business. That's all there is to it. I had so many reformers off air telling me, hey, I can't come on your show. Your questions are going to get me killed. I'm like, then you're not a reformer, okay?
Right.
If you're trying to first of all, there is no reforming it. For those who say it was hijacked, well, go take it back. For those who say it's reformable, why are you hiding behind cameras saying I can't come on air? But we are unfortunately at the very end of our show, Shahram John. I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to having you back on again. Tell our audience when is your show on Worldview YouTube, and also where they can go to support your work and your ministry.
Thank you. Very quickly. So our shows air Saturdays and Sundays. They can look at the schedule. I believe it's afternoon times on Saturday and Sunday. And then also, we have added another show where Worldview Tube is carrying our shows on Tuesday evenings at 5 o'clock time slot. I believe right after you on Tuesdays, we'll be airing one of our other shows that we do on our Rumble channel. So if they go to the website there, tilministry.com, TILministry.com, they can find information out about us and also our Rumble channel, which is our main platform. But we're grateful also for being here on Worldview Tube and very grateful for this platform.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shahram John. Stay safe. Keep up the good work. I will be in touch to hopefully get you back on air because I'm sure this is going to keep on developing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To our audience, thank you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. I did see your comments. I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to get back to you on the comments, but I was scanning through them, some of your comments. As always, brilliant, great points. And absolutely, Tammy John. Thank you as well. I do need to wrap up within the next 20 seconds. So I encourage you to become a subscriber on my Substack. That is liveuptofreedom.substack.com. You get a lot of information, including every morning reports on things that I can almost promise you don't find them anywhere else because I get them from the other side of Middle East. And if you can afford, become a paid subscriber because that's how I pay the bills. It's $8 a month or $80 a year to become a paid subscriber. And you do get exclusive programming or writings, I should say. Live Up to Freedom.
We have a big announcement, folks, something we've been waiting on for several months, and it's now here. It's called Bella Melt. You were on it for just 1 week when you lost 3 pounds. So in the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know